Let me put it in more concrete terms. Today, if you said, okay, I want to develop and work with these technologies, you have to download a large number of files. You have to set up a server. It's a long process, right? And then you have to make sure it's all up to date, and you've got to configure it. You could run it, for example, on a central server, or you might have a virtual machine image. All of that, but all of that work takes time. You're more or less taking something and trying to put it somewhere where you can use it. What we see happening and what we're trying to build for our developers and designers is they won't do any of that. So in much the same way today, you can set up a website today. So if you were you're a blogger, right?
Yeah,
you could set up a TechCrunch or a TechCrunch-like site. You could run it on a WordPress blog. You could run it on an Amazon image. That's just, you could have the idea of being a blogger today and you could be set up in a couple of days, right? It's no effort, right? Because it's all set up for you. We envision doing that same thing. So you would actually take advantage of all of our enterprise pieces. You'd simply go to a site. I mean, we're going to work with a number of vendors along this line. You'll just simply go somewhere. All of the tools will be set up for you. All the server-based components are there, and you will just maybe grab the tools that you already have, Creative Suite, Flash Builder. You can point them at these servers and start to build a solution.
Okay. Who are the customers who have benefited from the enterprise product?
I worked on the SAP partnership for years. So SAP, as you know, is a global company. And one of their benefits was they needed to be able to build a rich experience, and they needed to give a design tool to build forms, for example. And they just were not able to do that on their own. With the partnership with Adobe, they took a subset of what is now ADEP, and they've integrated that into their platform and delivered that to their customers. And the wins have been huge because now customers can benefit from using the SAP infrastructure, but they have good design tools and they can deliver an end user experience with minimal amounts of effort. Whereas the process of doing that before was a long one. They'd usually have to bring a consultant in. They couldn't do the work themselves. So customers who actually know, the clients who know the workflow processes are actually able to do it themselves.
How difficult, or will there be any challenges for businesses to adapt?
There's always going to be challenges, and that's probably the other thing you hear about all the time, right? That the new platform is going to make it all easy, right? You'll just click and click. We're aware of that, and we know that, and we're, in that sense, the challenges are always there. Where we think we excel, though, is that most of these environments you have a lot of different systems. So I'll use the SAP example for a moment. No one runs SAP the same way, so all of their SAP customers all have it set up differently. So you don't have the luxury of going in and just having a uniform installation to put it to. Where Adobe has always succeeded, though, and this is where we succeed really well in the enterprise platform, we adjust really well to having different, what we call a heterogeneous environment. And this is typical as well, right? A company might have acquired a number of different technologies, and they're trying to, they start drawing it on a whiteboard, and you go, wow, that's really complicated. How are we going to make all of that talk together? ADEP is built, for example, on Java. So, for example, you can run on different hardware. ADEP also has a number of connectors, so a number of ways to talk to existing systems. So the benefit that we have to meet the challenge that they have is, well, we've got all this investment. We don't want to necessarily get rid of it, and we can't just make it all go away. How do we make that all connect together? And I believe that our ADEP platform answers that response much better than competitive products.
All right. Would you have any other thoughts that you can contribute to this?
I think our main message is just that we have the ability now today to sort of take you through the different ways of benefiting from software. So you have kind of the creation aspect, or we call the make idea, right? You can quickly build this stuff, and this is probably something that a lot of your readers are already familiar with, right? They've got Creative Suite, right? Photoshop is a well-known tool. Well, we've kind of built on top of that now. So you have the ability to make things. You have the ability to also put that content, put that code out there and have it managed, like have it available for clients to be able to use. And then you can also go beyond that. You can market it. You can make it available for you can make people aware of what's there, and they're also able to take advantage of it. They can monetize from their efforts. They can have something published. So digital publishing, for example. So you've got these different cycles now, and where someone may have seen that vision from the Creative Suite side many years before, they may have thought that there's always a point where they're going to have to get some help to finish the job off. What we have now today is we've kind of completely, filled in those gaps. You really now have an end-to-end solution that both designers and developers alike can take advantage of. Okay, so to sort of talk in terms of how can the ADEP platform benefit, users today. Where we see it all unifying things together, you sort of see it on the screen here, is this is usually traditionally where a lot of people come from. It's the Creative Suite, the ability to sort of build. But today, if I'm in Creative Suite and I'm building something like in Photoshop, I'm not necessarily able to reach out to a client, because clients aren't necessarily getting the content from the tools directly. They're getting it from a server, some kind of server. And also, by the way, typically if I'm doing something in Photoshop, I might need to combine that if a customer is consuming this content with code that comes from a back-end system. It could be a database, could be anything. So all of this kind of worked usually in the past in different ways. And over here on the right-hand side, you've got the idea of online marketing. And this is where, very much similar to people we're talking to right now, often asking questions, who's doing what people are interested in. And these are people asking those questions. So you've got creative people here, you've got developers here, and you've got marketing people here. The ADAP platform helps bring all that together. It unifies everything so that you can pull data from the back end, you can use content, and you can collaborate in real time, and at the same time, you're able to get questions answered. So you can reach all of your clients. So on the top here, you see the HTML browser, you see Adobe Reader, Flash, and Air, and so on. So you're reaching all of your conventional client platforms, or the consumers in that case. And what you're really seeing is an organization that embraces ADAP is able to work very efficiently in this regard. And organizations perhaps that are in sore need of it are typically running with older websites, they're not able to reach those clients, or their collaboration is not so smooth here, and they typically have to copy and paste or email documents over to another server before they can publish.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you very much for that.
Okay.
It's good to hear these thoughts coming from you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.